All right, how's everybody doing out there? We'll get started. Looks like about 3 minutes from now. If you're watching the recording, you feel free to fast forward about 3 minutes and you'll get right to the start. All right, so hang in there, enjoy the music, and we'll be back to you shortly. All right, we're about 1 minute out from starting. Welcome everybody, and we'll see you in a minute. All right, you ready to get started? Let's get going here. Okay. All right, so let me just make sure everybody can hear me okay. I think probably the audio is okay. It looks like we're good to go. And we're broadcasting live from San Diego, California. And cold night here in San Diego, but seems like it's warming up a little bit right now. Got down into the 30s last night here, so pretty chilly, needless to say. All right, let's get going. All right, before I do, I got to do my administrational items first, and that includes just showing you a couple things like our presentation disclaimer, which basically says there's risks involved in trading. I think we all know that. Like I always say, without the risk, there is no opportunity, so the two go hand in hand. In addition, it is possible to lose some or all of your money trading the financial markets. That's why you have to use risk control, and you have to use money you can afford to risk. At least that's the smart thing to do. Also, too, we're going to look at a lot of stocks today. I'm going to give you my suggestions, and please run those by your financial advisor, accountant, or attorney, whoever manages your money, just to be sure they're suitable for you, because I don't know you personally, and I don't know your personal situation, so that's real important. All right, I've written several books, so if you're tuning in for the first time here on YouTube, we want to welcome you, of course, welcome everybody. And these are books I have available at Amazon. Gene will put a link up there. We'll have a link in the recording so you can look below in the write-up of the YouTube recording, and you'll see it in there. But I suggest the first book everybody goes for should be A Trader's Money Management System. That's the book on the far left. You have to have good risk control in order to do well. It's not all just about entries and exits. It's about protecting your downside. We don't win all the time, so you have to be able to have a way in which you can determine your trade size or position size, so when you do take a loss, it doesn't hurt you that bad. All right, that's what it's all about. It's the calculations are there in it. We have software at traderscoach.com that can help you with that. But look at a trader's money management system as the seatbelt you put on before you start trading, just kind of like what you do in a car, okay? And then I have other books on technical analysis as well. Now, when we look at charts today, you may see some things on my chart that you're not used to seeing. And that's because we use a specific trading tool called the Applied Reality Trading System. And in addition, we use the OWL, PTF, and TLM and ERI indicators at the bottom of the chart. Now, I designed all that. I developed it all. You can read about it on our website as well. But one warning I'll give you, you have to have the right trading tools in order to do well in this business. I mean, that's really paramount. You don't want to be throwing darts at a board when doing your stock selections. So definitely check out what you have, know how to do risk control. And again, you know, that's our business, so we can help you with that. All right, so last slide, and then we're gonna get going. We wanna make sure everybody likes, subscribes, and shares to our YouTube channel. Now, we're trying to build the channel where it's almost becoming a stock picking service here on Friday, because simply everybody brings their stocks, we look at them, we find some winners some weeks, and that benefits you and everybody else, okay? So that's kind of a cool thing. But if you just have a stock you want me to look at and give you a second opinion, that's why I'm here, all right? And I'll tell you what I think based on my trading tools. And so that's kind of a good second opinion based on what you may be in, where you want to put your stop and things like that. All right, so like, subscribe, and share. All right, let me get rid of that and let's dump into the charts here. All right, so what we're going to ask you to do is feel free to type in any stock or ETF and do that in caps, because that makes it easier for me to see on the chat. And what I'm going to do is go over some of the ones we looked at as winners last week, and maybe some of the previous weeks if I can find them, and take a look and see how they're doing, okay? All right, first thing I want to do is just quickly, for those new here, or if you're watching the recording, you'll see my screen has 3 charts on it, and then it has a device up here. This device is called, and I'm using Ninja Trader, okay, the trading platform. This device up here is called the Market Analyzer in Ninja, and it's their scanner. But what we have done here at traderscoach.com is we've developed some proprietary scans that we use to find stocks that have certain bits of Elliott wave in them, momentum, and things like that that we like to look at, as well as entries and exits based off the ART system. Then below I have 3 charts. The one on the left is a 60-minute chart, so every price bar on this chart represents an hour. And this is our short-term look at the market we're analyzing. Then the next chart I have is the daily chart of the same market, and this gives us our intermediate trend. This is also called the primary time frame. So I always like to put the primary time frame in the center. So what does that mean? Well, when I call a chart a primary time frame, that's the chart I'm using primarily, there's that word, to place my entries and exits in. So I'm doing all my risk control, and I'm kind of taking my trade on that particular time frame as a priority. So if I'm using a daily chart, I'm going to hold the trade overnight for a certain duration of time that will be longer than the 60-minute chart. And then finally, I want to go with the flow of things. So I look at the weekly chart, which is our long-term look at the market I'm trading. So all 3 charts are of the same market. It just gives me a different glimpse in the different short-term, intermediate, and long-term aspects of that market. All right, so that kind of is important to know because you're going to be seeing me look at all these. All right, so I'm going to start out with a stock called XRX. Now this is one I think we found. Did we find this last week? I think we found this last week, right, folks? All right, and this is a one we had a short position, suggested a short position. And if you look at the price bars, last week was 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're in the money on the short position. But the question is now, what do we do? Well, one of the indicators we look at a lot for this short position here is the PTF on all the time frames. And it just turned yellow here. So it's gone neutral here, but it's still red on the short term and still red on the long term. So we're good to hold this short still. So don't cover. You don't need to cover this yet. All right, now our target is down to $11.45. And if you look at the 5-minute chart here, we put our stop up here, which would have been up here on this one. So we're giving it a lot of room. So this volatility, if we incur again, won't stop us out. When I set a stop, I like to set a stop at a location in the market where it proves my analysis wrong. I don't want to be stopped out on volatility alone. That's a real bummer. Happens, okay? That kind of makes me mad when that happens. But it happens, and I'm sure it happens to everybody. So when I put my stop at the very top, if I get stopped out, okay, so be it. I'm okay with that because it just means that that wasn't the top if I'm going short or the bottom if I'm going long. So in a case like this, because the indicators are still bearish, I would hold this to the short side. All right, anybody in this one from last week? I think we had a couple. Cool. All right, so the next one I want to look at is silver. We had a long buy on silver, so let's see how that's doing. And that has come up as well. Of course, with the war going on, we've had quite a lot of volatility over the last few days, and you can see that represented in some of these price bars that are elongated. I mean, yesterday in the markets was amazing. I mean, down, 1,000 points almost, and then rallied up 92 points by the time of the end of the day. Unbelievable. All right, so, and it hit every market a little differently. So silver was coming up, and it's pulled back a little bit. We still like it for a long position because, I'm going to open up this daily chart here, because we actually think it's going to go up to at least short-term $28.61 all the way up to $34.08. So we're anticipating this being the bottom here, okay? So when we first went in, that would be our bottom. If you want to go in now, you can put your stop a little higher over that last bottom because you've cleared some highs there. So we like this from a bullish trade standpoint, and you'll probably be in this one for a while, okay? Anybody in silver out there? All right, now let's take a look at Microsoft. This was one from a couple weeks ago, and we had a short on it, right? Okay, and let's see what's cooking on this one. All right, so the target zone on this short position initially, short term, was right here, okay? So this is kind of interesting. We're having a situation where we're starting to get a little bullish as we start an uptrend back here. Now, in terms of Elliott wave on this time frame, interesting. All right, so we could have a 3. Okay, this could be an A, B, C to the downside, or C to the downside over here, 1, 2. So I would be a little bit careful on a short position here. You may, I would have right now our stop set here on this pyramid at this point. And, a scaling out of here when it hit the target zone would have been justified as well. All right, because we still have a bullish PTF. So, when this thing recovers, it's going to go. Now, if it keeps going down, 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 then the next target range is over there for Microsoft. So, I would probably, definitely scale out a little bit if you didn't already at this pyramid. And then if you want to leave the rest on for a longer term short, you could. But it's getting more risky now because it has sold off quite a bit. All right. All right, let's take a look at a couple more here. GBTC. Now, for those that don't know, GBTC is the ETF for Bitcoin. I'll tell you, there is a lot of info out there on Bitcoin in terms of opinions. There are, if you type in Bitcoin in YouTube, you'll get, thousands of videos on it. And some people like it, some people hate it. All right, so you're gonna, have to decide how you want to play it. But I look at the charts. Okay, I don't care what people are saying, because price is always right. All right, so I go with the chart. So what is Bitcoin telling me here on the charts? All right, first of all, on the long-term aspect of Bitcoin, we have a green PTF here. That green PTF, I'm going to open up this chart for just a minute so we can see this just a little bit better. That green PTF has a 75% probability of being accurate. So the chances of it taking out the highest high in the green area, that's the way it works, is 75%. So we're eventually going to take out this according to this indicator. Now, is it right 100% of the time? No. 75 is pretty darn good though. All right, so, all right, long position. But the next trick is, where are you going to put your stop? Because what happens if this goes down and then reverses? The PTF would be right, but you could get stopped out if you put your stop here, right? So a little tricky. Now, we went into this for a long position earlier, but it's not, I would not take it right now, okay? Because things have got to get a little more bullish on the short-term charts. Since, we took it when we got this bounce up here and things looked pretty good, but now it's pulled back. Our stop's under the bottom. So if this is just a normal pullback in an uptrend, we're going to do well. But if it keeps going down, we're going to get stopped out. Now, where does that leave you now? Well, if you're long, have your stop under the bottom like us. If you're taking it, thinking about taking it, wait. Why do I say wait? Because this is red. This is what we call the OWL. It stands for the optimum wave locator. It does two things. It measures momentum on the time frame you're looking at, and it also helps us with the Elliott wave count. So in terms like this, it's red. So new trades, it should be green. So you got to wait. Same thing with this on the lower time frame. We have active pyramids to the downside. We have an active pyramid here, all right, as well. So we have too many things going against us at this current date to go long on Bitcoin. So do not take Bitcoin now if you are not already in it. If you are already in it, have your stop at the low here and get out if it goes below that, okay? You got to always use risk control and adjust your trade size, position size, bet size, whatever you call it, appropriately based on calculations like I have in my book. And I also have something called the trade size calculator that can help you with that. And that's a piece of software, but that will determine your trade size. And so if you get stopped out, you're not going to get killed. Okay, really important. All right, now some of the others, I'm just going to go over a couple others. I think there was an Lazar or whatever, that I wanted to quickly look at, that we looked at last week for a possible long, but no go still, all right? And the reason, this looks good in terms of the PTF, this looks good, but this is not, okay? So no long trade on that, all right? All right, let's get to the ones now you guys actually want to look at here. All right, so let's see, type them in caps. Oh, let's take a look at our buddy DQ, okay? This is another one that folks liked as well. All right, so DQ was one that had a green PTF on the longer time frame and also on the shorter time frame. But it was not so great because it was coming down on the time frame in the middle, which is our daily. Let's take a look at this for a second on the longer time frame. All right. Every time I think of DQ, I think of Dairy Queen, right? All right, so let's take a look. We had a fairly significant retracement here, a little bit more than a normal wave 4, but it did not penetrate what we're considering wave 1, which is here. So the red line is where the top of wave 1 is, and as you know, you cannot have a market, a wave 4, if it goes below the top of wave 1. So it still could be a wave 4. 15% of the wave 4s end in this area. 70% end here, and then 15% are shallow. All right, so pretty big retracement, but this is green. So we kind of want to be poised for a long trade. We just got to wait until things are okay. It looks pretty good on the 60. Doesn't look too bad now on this one. So I think at this time you could probably take a long trade. We no longer have red here. We have green here. All right, the idea is we want to get in early, so where do we want to put our stop? At the very bottom. That way, if our analysis is wrong and it's not done going down, we'll get stopped out. And I want to be stopped out because that means this is not a bottom. I do not want to get stopped out if it does something like this before it goes. So I would put DQ on the buy list. So let's write that down as a possibility for this week. What do you guys think? You like that one? DQ. So I'm going to write that down as a pick for today. All right, long on DQ. All right, let's take a look at a couple others here. Okay, so AYX. Oh man. Okay, so AYX. All right, that's a long white line. This one is for you. All right, let me just adjust these indicators for the current volatility of this bad boy here, and let's take a look at it. All right, so not bad. Let's take a look here. All right, so what I like about a long position here is we have a green PTF and a green owl. We have on the 60-minute the same. Everything is looking good on that. So we also have, let's take a look at that weekly chart here. Not quite as bullish as the underlying time frames, but we are starting to see bullish divergence in here. So the question is this going to be a bottom or not? Certainly could possibly be. So I think it's probably worth the trade, especially since the lower time frames now are starting to show more bullishness. Now, a couple things that are going against us a little bit that we have to take into consideration, and this may cause some people to wait. All right, one is we have a number of pyramids in a row to the downside. So we've met, you got 4 pyramids in a row. So technically, you could go long after 4 pyramids, because after 4 pyramids, the trend is weak, all right, in most cases. And we've had a lot more even previous that. So we're due for a bottom. That's what the pyramids are saying when you get so many consecutive ones in a row. So you can go off these that just form. These are minor pyramids, so they're not full-fledged pyramids because prices are still below the stop out level on the most recent pyramid. So you could wait for that stop out level to hit before going long, or you can go ahead, increase your trade size now because you're getting in early, put your stop at the very bottom, and take that long position and justify it by the fact that you have a bullish owl and a bullish PTF. So I don't think that's a bad one. What do you guys think? I would take it. All right, I would take this one. So let's put this down as a possible pick. May not be for everybody, but if you want to try to get in early, this is exactly how you do it. Especially since the 60-minute time frame is so bullish as well with the PTF. So you've got more highs coming. All right, so I don't mind that one. Okay, looks like a good one to go ahead and try. Just make sure you have your stop at the bottom. So that is AYX. There's some issues with it, but overall, I think it's good to take the trade on that one. We can never remove the risk totally out of a trade. So there's going to be some times when you take the trade even though everything doesn't align itself perfectly, okay? As long as most of the rules that you would abide by are hit, you're good to go. All right, so Google. All right, let's take a look at this one. Let's see who this one's for. This one's for White Lion as well. All right, so Google has had a nice bullish move up. My problem with Google right now is that it's pretty extended. Look how many price bars you had in a row here. Usually, that's unusual. 10, and you start thinking about a pullback. So I think it's kind of in the process of coming back. We got a red PTF here. We got stopped out on that time frame. This time frame has a stop fairly close, though it did rebound. It certainly could go higher. I'm not saying it's not, but the problem is I would have much rather gotten in, if we look at this chart, way over here, when this pyramid was hit and things started turning bullish down here. That's where I would have rather gotten in. So I think probably a little higher, but it's not my kind of trade because I don't like to chase trends. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. If you are long in it already, I'd probably put my stop right under this pyramid. So maybe that will help you, White Lion, if you're long on that one already. All right, Stuart, gold, GLD. Let's take a look at that one for you. And gold, okay, has been driving me nuts, and I'll tell you why. Because I want to be long on gold, right? But guess what? I've got this PTF that's bearish. It's red. Now, granted, it kept me out of this mess here, but we're starting to pop up, and it's still red. Almost turned green. So I got to wait for this to turn green before I can go long based on my rule set. Okay, nothing I can do. Now, if I look at the weekly chart on this, again, weekly chart's bullish. So that's looking pretty good. It's just that the short-term chart says we're coming down again before it's going up. So it's not saying that this isn't a bottom. It's just saying on the daily chart with the red PTF that it's going to pull back again. This chart is saying from a long-term position, you're good to go, put your stop here. But one of my rules is if the underlying time frames have bearish indicators, I don't go. Okay, I don't take it. Now, in terms of an Elliott wave count, because I know everybody just loves Elliott wave. I do. Okay, so here's a 3. Here's a 4. Now this is a weekly chart, so don't be disturbed by these long dates down here. And now we're in the throes of a 5. Okay, so this was a little 4 that I drew in for a correction. I think this is a minor 3 inside a 5. This is the minor 4, which we're seeing as prominent Elliott wave count on the daily. And so when we get to the 5 of 5 on the daily, we'll be at the top of 5 on here. Now we have a bullish PTF, so that's kind of another indication that this is not a 5 top, that the 5 top will come again. All right, so that's how that PTF can also help us. This wave 3 is showing us a wave 3 inside of 5. Okay. If we make some adjustments to the software, which is kind of cool, check this out. So we'll do this. If we go in here and take a look at the owl and extend the wave to find the major wave 3, okay, all right, it's just after here coming down here in wave 4. Okay, so wave 4 had a wave 3 in the C wave. All right, so that's kind of cool. All right, so that helps you when you're trying to determine a bottom of some type. Okay, so very, very helpful stuff in terms of having the right tools again. All right, so we've just finished a wave 3 inside a major 5 is what it looks like. So I would like to get long, and I will if this turns green and I still have good risk to reward. So we'll see how that plays out, okay? So that's gold. All right, let me just do one more thing on gold for fun. Let's see how far back I can go in here. Okay, I'd like to go a little further back, but I'm just going to draw a quick synopsis. I'm going to get rid of this. Give me 1 second. Let's remove that. Let's see. Let me just see how much data I have on this one. 4,000. I'm going to try to see if I can get more data on this one. I'm trying to get the long-term fibs figured out on this one to tell you where a target can be. So fib extensions, flat based, I'm going to draw them from here to here to here. So you see we hit the target zone already, but we're going back up in it. So the risk to reward's not quite there. You'd have to use the PTF target zone, and so you need to get in earlier than this. So I got to wait for the pullback. According to the daily chart, we'll get one. We'll see. Again, PTF's right 75% of the time, not 100. So if it abruptly turns green, then this is a trade I would have missed. Okay, so that's the GLD. Can't win them all, but that is one that I think if you're long in already, just stick with it. All right, so let's keep going on. Hi Key, TSLA. I know we've looked at this quite a bit. Let's take a look at this again. All right, so what do we got cooking on this one? First of all, I notice a variety of things. One is my eyes go to big trends, big moves up. There they are there. Then I look at this. I look at all this stuff. And I look at this. This is bearish. So the question comes is, how can this be bearish when this is so bullish? Well, the answer is because right now you're in a correction inside a larger time frame, right? All right, so that's the answer. So you're still coming down. Let's first take a look at the weekly chart here. Now, I love charts like this. All right, obviously the best trade in this chart would have been a breakout from here, okay? All right, so that was your best part. Your stop is currently here. These are possible scale out areas that form after the top of the pyramids that you can take based on your trading situation and rules. But also there's nothing wrong with just staying long because the PTF is green as well. Now, some things you should know about the PTF. The PTF is indicating that there's a 75% probability we're going higher than this. The PTF does not tell us when that's going to happen. It does not tell us, all right, how deep a correction is before that will happen. It's only telling us that the market should return and go higher. So this is very close to going red. It's not quite. So this could be a possible 3. When this goes red, that becomes a more defined, and I'm going to say more reliable top called wave 3. Then you're in a wave 4 correction. And then after that, you'll have wave 5. Now, this PTF could stay green the entire time down on wave 4. And guess what? It still could be right because wave 5 will exceed 3, and that's when this will turn yellow. All right, so next question, next dot to connect is, okay, if this thing turns red, where's the target zone for wave 4? Well, let's go ahead and run that up, and I do a specific way I attach these anchors. We're in it already, okay? So if the market rebounded here and went straight up without a red PTF here, then I would be a little concerned that at this particular point we're still in wave 3. And I wouldn't be concerned. It would just be that this is not the top, this is. Okay? If this turns red and, you know, because this may bounce around before it goes, that's good because then we know that's a 4 and then we have clarity of 5. Okay, I like that a lot better. Okay, so anytime I can clarify things, I like it. So this, according to this, is kind of interesting. So on the 60-minute chart, it looks like this low here had enough momentum that it's not the final one, according to that PTF. Now, is this PTF going to be wrong? Well, it has a 25% chance of being wrong. So you do have to take that into consideration. It's possible. We do have bearish divergence, which is kind of interesting here. All right, so could this be a bottom? Could, but this is saying it's not. But you do have bearish divergence on the, you do have a bearish owl still, and you have a bearish owl on the daily. So you're not going to go long yet, and you have an active pyramid to the downside. So technically speaking, even though this is green, we're in a downtrend. We're still in the correction. So don't go into this yet. Wait until that turns more bullish before you do, okay? And the 60-minute chart, if it's red here on the PTF, just wait until that turns yellow or green. So I'd put this on a watch list. So let's do that. Let's put this on our YouTube watch list, okay? Watch list, and we'll keep an eye on it. We'll look at it next time, but it's not quite ready yet. All right, NVIDIA. NVDA, and this one is for key again, okay? All right, so we've looked at this one obviously quite a lot here. All right, we've got a situation where, let me open this up. This is kind of interesting. So remember how the last chart did not have a red owl yet? This one does. Good sign. All right, so this is a wave 4, this is a wave 3. I can say that with much more certainty. All right, this is a 1, this is a 2. So wave 5 will come back. All right, so what do? Do we go long now? Probably not yet. There's usually 4. Statistically speaking, you usually get an average of 4 owls in the direction of a certain color. Sometimes, obviously, you get more, okay? Sometimes you get less, so that's an average. All right, so we've only had 1. At least I think we've only had 1. Let me open this up and see if it's 2. Nope, it's just 1. All right, so far we've had 1. There's no question about this wave count for me. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm liking that. Question is 4 over? Okay, PTF will be right on wave 5. All right, so let's take a look and see what the lower time frames are telling us in terms of timing. Nope, not over yet. So I can look at this, and if you have the right tools, this is what I'm saying. If you do not have the right tools, forget it. Go home. Don't trade the markets. Call your financial advisor. Have him do everything for you. Okay? If you're going to throw darts at the market or listen to people on NBC or whatever news station you want and listen to them, they are going to sell you the hype of the day. So don't look at the charts and have the right tools. It will give you the keys to the kingdom. No kidding. So on this situation here on NVIDIA, this is bearish, this is bearish. So right now, hold off. This is showing we got a 75% chance of going lower. We have an active short trade with a stop right here on this time frame. This here, okay, is turning around a little bit. So we may get a pull up here. But this being red indicates that any bullishness we see now is going to be temporary. So let's hold off. Okay, now things change here. If this abruptly turns green or markets go down and it turns yellow and then it reverses and we start seeing green here, fine, pull the trigger. But right now, no. So I think NVIDIA should go on a watch list because I do think it will be ready at some point, but not today. Does that make sense to everybody? You guys understand where I'm coming from on that? Okay, good one to look at. Thank you, Key, very much for that. All right, what else do we need to look at? Is there anything else? Anything else? Okay, Frank says, okay, so White Lion Frank is telling you he's using a target to 77 on that. Okay, John, how are you? All right, Google. All right, Goog, good old Goog. All right. Let that baby load. Right away, I can tell you one thing I probably know for certain. You're probably going to be using options on this because at $2,696 for this, that's an expensive stock, right? All right. So let's take a look and see, okay? Let me open this bad boy up and look at that. Now, when I see a chart like that, okay, right away, wave 3. No question about it, wave 3. Momentum is high. The owl is telling us it's wave 3, and now we have the red owl. Just so you know, I like red owls after wave 3. It adds a lot of clarity because a lot of times, you know, during a wave 3, you can have a pullback and then one more high and still be in wave 3. Those are the difficult trades. But when they go red, that's a really, really good sign. So let's just take a look at how the art system did here. Phenomenal, okay? Put you in here, all right? Made a nice profit here, stopped out here, long again here, stopped out here. Can't ask for anything better. Huge, huge profits. I mean, this trade alone here would have been a huge one. So now we have a red PTF. So what the heck's going on now? All right, so the first thing we want to try to do is get the overall wave count here. So where's wave 2? All right, abruptly started moving up here. Looks like our first breakout is here. I am going to, let's try a couple different places. Believe it or not, the first breakout could be your wave 2 right in here. Something like that. That's possible. So let's draw that up here, and then we're going to adjust it for another possibility. So let's run it up here, okay? So if we go bring it here, the target on this correction is 2145 to 1571. So this indicates on the weekly chart it's a major correction, all right? Let's adjust these, and let's just say if it was here, if it would change it much. Okay, a little bit. All right, so in doing this, what I'm doing is basically saying, okay, so if this is wave 1, then this could be wave 2, this could be wave 3. So we're still nowhere near it. So it's got to retrace. So when it gets down to this area, and I would use this for right now and see how the momentum is when you get down here. When this goes green again, then you can take a long trade as long as it hits this target zone here. I think you'd be safe in doing that. So let's leave that as there. All right, now, is it done yet? Not according to the PTF on here and not according to the downtrend here. How are we seeing a little relief? Yep. So we're seeing a pull up, but still we're in a position of the market still sliding. So I think it's another good one to put on a watch list. I think probably you have several months, a long time before this will be a buy. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right, love it. You guys like this? IGV. Let's take a look at this bad boy here. All right. So this is one we've looked at before. Notice it's working its way quite a bit ways down to that target zone on the weekly. So let's open up the weekly chart. There she blows. Okay. Again, beautiful. Wave 3. Now we're coming down into here. We're probably going to get something like that and then a bounce up. Very, very strong momentum. So this is going to be a doozy. Okay, when you see this particular heavy, deep, check that out, bearish owl like that, even being labeled as a wave 3, okay, that's huge. All right, off a major wave 3. Okay, so that's a big deal. So in a case like this, we're probably going down to that target range for sure and maybe a little bit into the bottom area. All right, let's see how we're looking on the lower time frames. Again, bearish already. The art system did another great job catching the short trade to the target zone on the weekly. So your stop here is right here. We're seeing that bullishness coming into the market, which I kind of think is going to last pretty much all day. The Dow Jones looks like we're going to have more selling next week on it, just a FYI. So I think probably what we're seeing is a temporary correction in everything today, and that started yesterday afternoon. So, you know, there we are. So keep this on a watch list, but I think like the other, you have several months before you're going to want to go long on this. It's too late to go short, not unless you get a nice rebound here that can give you a good risk to reward. All right, cake. I'd love some cake. All right, K-A-K-E. This one's for Al. Actually, it's a little too early in the morning for cake, but you get the idea. All right, so let's take a look at this one. All right, let's open up that weekly chart first, okay? Not my favorite. A little bit on the messy side here, okay, right now. All right, so you had a big, you know, if we looked at it here, this could have been a 3, but then you had a retracement all the way down to the bottom, so that's probably a 1, 2, 3. Maybe you've had a 4, okay? But it's kind of messy now. So the better opportunity would have been down here, so to speak. I do not have a green PTF on this, so I don't know if we're going to get one more high on it. And we're selling off on, still selling off, but we actually starting to get a little more bullish on the daily chart. All right, so let's take a look at this one and take a look and see. So if you wanted to, after that analysis on the weekly, if you're saying, okay, 3 of some degree here, all right, maybe a 4, maybe a 5, possible. All right, but the wave structure is a little messy on the weekly to be sure of that. Okay, so that's my cause for concern. So personally, I would move on and find something better. All right, even though I do like cake, but not this cake. All right, thanks, Al. All right, Samuel, you know, I've been waiting for you to come every week, and I had my other charting platform, TradeStation, where I could get BTC USD, and you didn't come. So now I haven't started it because you're the only one that I would need that platform for. So I looked at GBTC, and that's the best I can do during the session today. If you promise me you'll come back next week, I'll load that for you, okay? All right, and I did GBTC already. So, you know, basically you can go long on that one, just have your stop at the very bottom of the most recent pullback. All right, GPC, okay? How about GPC? GPC. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, so here we have GPC. All right, so what are you doing on this one? You are short on this one, short. All right, so you're kind of making a play based on, I mean, you know, basically this looks almost like the Dow, right? All the major stocks are going to look like the Dow at this point if they're part of the S&P. So in a case like this, we finally got our red owl, okay, on the weekly charts on a lot of these S&P stocks. And this is pulling back. So your question probably is, should I remain short? And I would say yes, simply because you've got this red and you're going to get a correction, okay? But go ahead and stay short. You can put your stop right here on the 60-minute chart. So are you doing this for a long-term trade or a short-term trade? That's the next question, I guess. That's a question for White Lion. Going once, going twice. So you just let me know what your intentions. If your intentions are staying short for a major fib correction off this, then stay short. But you need to have your stop at the top of the high on the weekly chart. So you need to have it there. Okay. All right, so you were looking to go short. Okay, so you're not short yet. Let me take a look at that 60-minute chart. Here's my problem with this. All right, so you got a red PTF. Problem is you're late getting into this trend, at least on the 60-minute time frame. I'm thinking maybe what you should do, at least this is what I would do. Not everybody's like me, okay? But yeah, you got a PTF opportunity here, but the low is here. Oh, didn't want to do that. Low is here, okay? So where are you going to put your stop? If you put it up here, you don't have the risk to reward. You know, it would have been nice to have gotten in back up in here, okay, in the beginning. But there's a lot of volatility in this. You know, that's a lot of zigzagging. So you got to be careful about setting your stops on this. It's not as definitive as I would want it. I think you could probably find something better on this, but you're getting a short pyramid here on the daily. So, you know, personally, if I was going to take this at all, I would put my stop here. Okay, way at the top of the high, and go for broke. And when I say that, I don't really mean that. But what I'm saying with that is calculate your trade size, put your stop at the very high, and if this is a top, which it certainly could be because now we have a red owl, then you should do okay, even if you get some volatility in that type of area. So that's how I would play that if you want to absolutely take that. All right, let's keep going here. Yeah, well, Bitcoin and the GBTC, the only difference with the Bitcoin itself is that if you look at I think it's the weekly chart, you do not have a green PTF. Okay, so it's a little different than GBTC. Okay, that's the only difference with that one. But otherwise, the price configurations are exactly the same. Okay, if you go long on that one, put your stop at the recent low, whatever the bottom is. Put the stop at the bottom of whatever it represents, the bottom of this major pullback that they've had. Okay, that's the way I would play that. Okay, all right. I will power up the the Bitcoin BTC USD requires data for Bitcoin. And so on this platform here, I don't have it, but on my TradeStation platform, I have it. So I can look that up for you there. It's just that, you know, I don't usually run two platforms at a time when I'm doing webinars like this because of the fact that it uses so much bandwidth. All right, but I will boot that up for you next time. But you got to promise me you'll come next time. All right, IGV, let's take a look at that. All right, so on IGV here, this is one we looked at before. and we had a wave 4 in progress here as well. Okay, so coming down as expected to the target zone, right? So IGV is looking pretty good. All right, and that was one that we kind of liked as well. All right, so let's take a look here. MGI. MGI. And this is for Art. How you doing, Art? All right, MGI. What you doing with it? You're short. Okay, let's check it out here. All right. Let's see. Okay, so how did you arrive at a short position here? Because the pyramids and the owl are green here. Okay, so you might have gotten short here, thinking this was some type of wave 4 top maybe, and it's going down here. Probably maybe that was your thinking at the time, so you might have been short on this for a couple months. But certainly if you were short using the daily chart, you would have gotten out already, okay, because it's reversed enough. So that's the kind of deal with that. So I would not, the only way I would be short is if I took a long-term trade and this is what I calculated as my top and my stops there, okay? But this I would not do anything with right now. I wouldn't go long and I wouldn't go short. I would just pass on this one. And this is, I think I got the right one. MGI, is that the one? Yeah, okay. All right, let's keep going here. Ooh, key, PYPL, PYPL. PayPal? All right, let's see how this bad boy is doing. All right, well, this blew by the wave 4 normal area. So chances are this, okay, and if this was a wave 1, then we've already blown by that. So, definitely huge to the downside. I'm thinking this is a 1 and not a 3. I'm thinking this is a 2. I'm thinking when this recovers and goes higher, it'll be a 3. And if that's the case, then the next bullish owl will be higher than this one, and that will get the wave 3 at that point. So that's the way I would do it. I don't think this is a correction and then a new downtrend. I think this is the impulsive wave here, and now we're seeing the wave 2 correction now. And wave 2 is going to be pretty nasty, and you're seeing that here. So too late to go short? Yeah, I would say so. All right, let's see some, and you can't go long, not against an owl this big on the weekly chart. Okay, chances are getting killed are pretty high. Even if this is a bullish one, maybe you'll get a retracement here, but I would stay away from it until this thing either bottoms or you can get some type of clarity on the daily chart, okay? So stay away from this one right now. If you're not short, it's too late. If you're short, terrific. So Key, I don't think we're quite at a bottom yet, especially with the red PTF on the weekly. Now that doesn't mean you can't get a pull up and then another sell off. Possible, but be careful here, that's all. Okay, I don't think it's there yet. We'll look at it next week. HYG, let's take a look at that one. And this is from Frank. He shorted 87.5. Congratulations, Frank. Okay, so what do you do now? All right, so what I would do on this is, I guess you got your stop here, right? So you're going to lock in a profit no matter what, if you're on there. Now, if you're going for the bigger picture and you want to stay short with this, then have your stop instead up here. Okay, so what's the difference? This is, what, 88, 87, and this is a stop at 84. Now, what you could do, all right, is you have a yellow here. You could do a scale out here. So let's just say, I'll just take an example. Let's say you were short 500 shares. You could scale out 250 here and then keep a stop for the remaining 250 up here on the weekly. You also could have scaled out already as soon as this thing turned yellow down here, but you missed that. So I'd put the stop here. All right, and see if you get a reversal. All right, so long term, stay short. If you're trading the daily, put your stop on that pyramid, and that's the way I would play it. And if you're still playing the long term but want to scale out, you can use one of the lower time frames to help you do that. And hopefully that made sense. All right, my pleasure, Samuel. Okay, sorry I didn't have that booted for you today. I'll do it next week though. All right, SNAP. Snap, I guess we'll call it, and HRB. Okay, so this is for Irish. You're long here. Okay, I would not be long here. All right, I would wait until things got a little bit better. Probably, in other words, this pyramid is still active, so I wouldn't want to go against that. But it is improving. Okay, so you might have a bottom here, no question about it. This is awful large. Okay, so when momentum is still deep like this, the problem is any pullback can be a minor and then it comes down. I like to see this thing closer to the zero line, about to go bullish, before I'm really more confident that the longer term trend down is over. Now, with that said, all right, you're right in that primary area for a situation of a bottom here. And you are getting a turnaround, but you still have an active pyramid here. So I would wait on this before going long, because I need a pretty pristine setup on the lower time frames, with the weekly time frame still showing so much bearishness. Okay, so that's the kind of thing with that. Also too, this move down is huge. Okay, that's beyond a normal wave 4. So even this price bar here, I don't know my straight lines here, could be a situation where it's approaching the wave 1 top. So this could be a 1, 2. 2s are tough. Okay, so I would kind of wait until we have a little bit more bullishness confirmation on the shorter time frames. Okay, and I'd like to see that owl get closer to the zero line on the weekly. So I think probably you might get some sideways motion. You may get a pull up to 50, all right, or maybe 49, and maybe that's all you need. But then I think it's going to get difficult again. All right, so that's SNAP, Snapple. Okay, HRB, Human Resources. All right, so you're short on this one, and let's see what we got cooking here. All right, short right now looks pretty good on this time frame. So you have a 75% probability that you're going below 23, and we're at 24. Overall, let's take a look and see what that long-term trend is here. Okay, so we'll back that out. Let me just lower this a little bit. Kind of a messy chart. Not exactly one of my favorites. Okay, so the pyramids were stopped out here, and you have bearishness there. Personally, okay, let's just take a look at the daily and see. Yeah, I'm not, this thing's not talking to me too much here. Okay, I would pass on this trade if it was me. The only possibility is a bearish trade could work on the 60-minute time frame, but it's still going up. The price bars are still going up. So I would want to see a reverse in that before considering it. And then I would make the trade on the 60-minute chart only as a short-term trade. All right, so I think we'll go ahead and end here. We're on for almost an hour, which is terrific. And I think, so what do we think we got for winners today? All right, what do you think we got for winners? I know we liked AYX and DQ so far. Okay, so those are possibilities. What do you guys think? All right, John saying he's still holding runners short on MU. Okay. I'll just pop that one up there while we're waiting for people to say. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we got. All right. So I think, you know, probably DQ or AYX for this week. What do you think? So we got a bullish pyramid here. All right. And we're getting this, you know, stop right here at the pyramid's fine. Okay. If that's going to hold. But, you know, if you want to wait a little more confirmation here, but you got this green, this is just went yellow. Okay. This, I think, since we've been here. So that's kind of going up a little bit. So, you know, there you have it. Possible. All right. This is a little more risky because some things would be a little bit better if they were more sure. All right. AYX. Let's take a look at that bad boy. Let me just move some of these indicators down so we can see the price really good. You know, every chart has different volatility, so it creates things here. So AYX, same type of thing. I mean, we've got a little bit more bullishness in terms of PTFs on the 60 and the daily, so that's good. We're going against the owl a little bit and against the overall downtrend on the weekly, so a little risky on this one too. All right, I'm not sure. I would take this maybe. I'm rethinking this, and I might want to wait for us to get above this bearish pyramid before taking it. So I'm not sure that's quite ready yet. So I'm not sure we got really any great winners this week. What do you think? What do you think? Mum today, right? Sometimes the best trade is no trade, right? And wait for the setups. You know, we have a day trading room, and sometimes we wait like an hour and a half, and we're trading the 1 minute time frame, waiting for the right setup. So you have to wait sometimes. All right, well, I think that ends it for today, okay? I think, let's see, we got watch list, TSLA, NVIDIA, and let me go back to the ones that I do like. We liked XRX and silver for long, and Microsoft was a short a while ago. GBTC, we're actually long on GBTC, but I wouldn't take it now, okay? It's gotten a little more bearishness, so we need to look at that next week. So do not go into Bitcoin right now. All right. All right. Oh, Frank, you're too nice. Okay. I think you guys are all the winners out there. So listen, thank you for coming today. I really love it when we get a lot of people here, and I am more than happy to be here a good hour, maybe even longer, if we get more people and more stocks to look at. So I am perfectly good with that. The more, the merrier, as they say. All right, so I'll see you guys next week. Listen, have a great weekend. All right, always use risk control. Thanks for coming. The recording will be available shortly on YouTube, and you can watch it again there if you want. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.